Hello, and welcome back to Ember's Cozy Corner. I'm Ember May, author of the 10-book series Veronica Mysteries. I have been describing it as Gilmore Girl meets, um, or with a pup that has a compunction for finding dead bodies. But actually, as I've been ruminating on the whole thing, the whole experience, it also is very close to like Brooklyn Nine-Nine with a dog. And like outside of the police force, but it still has that same vibe. So I guess it's like sitcom vibes. Anyway, um, the Kickstarter is done. That's why we're here. We are talking about the fact that Kickstarter has closed, and in fact, we are talking about my lessons learned from Kickstarter. I have myself a cup of coffee so we can give you all the deets about the things that I learned through this process. As you are want to learn during the process. So to start, we ended the campaign at 620 US dollars, and our goal was 500. Though my secret goal was 3,000, we did not get anywhere near that. So that's fine. We didn't hit any stretch goals. I learned that 17 days is far too long for my attention span, and so the next one that I run will only be 10 days, because, woo, doggy, was 17 days hard. At least until I get, like, better at launching, because that's the other thing I realized, is my launching skills are not there. So my writing, my publishing skills, they're there. My writing and editing and publishing skills. Like, I can write a book, I can edit a book, I can publish a book. But I do not launch books. I haven't launched books in quite a while. And so doing this Kickstarter campaign is a big launch. And I am out of practice, one. And two, not sure that I've ever really done it well. And so, like, this is an act of practicing those skills. And so I'm going to, yeah, gotta get better at my launching skills, which is fine. I say now, after being extremely just drained and so very tired, which is why the videos disappeared on like day 4 or 5. I was already done. I was already tired. So yeah. I mean, I have videos that I could still post because I was still filming, but the editing, like taking the time to then edit, was so stressful. And so I decided to be kind to myself and just write it out. I tried to do social media posts to like engage people, and yeah, that was kind of where we left it, was 4 or 5 days in, I think. It might have been longer than that. I have some horrible time blindness, and we'll have to look at the data to figure that out. But let me go get my notebook, and then we can go down my lessons learned. Because as much as I was prepared with coffee, I did not grab the notebook that I wrote all the lessons learned in. I'll be right back. I'm back. So, my sister got this ginormous planner from Happy Planner, and then found out that it wasn't working for her. So she gave it to me, and now I have it, and I'm really happy. I now have 2 planners. I feel like a geek. That's fine also. So I'm using this one as kind of like a practice planner, where I plan out like the whole quarter, what ideally I would like to do, and then as the weeks go on and the things that I can't get done don't happen, I don't put it in the planner that I'm actually working in. I just put it in this one, and it becomes a practice that didn't become a reality, and that's fine with me also. So, Starter lesson number 1 is that 17 days is a long time, as I've mentioned. Which it really is. I thought 21 days, 30 days, a long time. 17 days is so long. I was all done by day 10. I was so tired by day 10. So I think that I don't have the endurance yet to do a prolonged campaign like that at 17 days. So I'm going to shorten it next time, see how that works. It also might work better for my audience, because I think it may have been too long a time for them as well. A lot of people that I talked to were like, well, I'm not sure I can do it yet. And then they missed it because, like, of how everything felt. So it's whatever. More than halfway through, I was informed about some Kickstarter Facebook groups that for authors that I wasn't part of, and so I joined those, and they have swaps, which is amazing. And I really love the fact that we can do cross promotions with each other. And because Kickstarter has such a wide reading audience, it doesn't have to be the same like kind of books. So that's also really fun, because it means that I can, because I predominantly read fantasy, and I'm a huge geek. So like I also love Star Wars. I don't read a lot of sci-fi, but there was one campaign that I swapped with, and I also backed her campaign, and she's doing short stories in this sci-fi universe of hers, and I was reading through the blurbs, and I'm like, oh my gosh, these sound so fun. So I backed it, and I got to add that to the end of some of my backer updates, and even in my newsletter. And then the other one that I sent out to people to try and promote was a book on Fae. It was a Fae fairy tale, and it was super pretty, lovely artwork, and it just makes me feel good to promote other people's work along with mine. Like, I really have an issue promoting myself. It's hard for me to do, and I much prefer promoting other people. And if you check me out too, then cool. But if not, no hard feelings. So, yeah, I will be doing those, and I will be doing Kickstarter swaps. So that's the other two goals, is like use the groups that I've now been part of, because I have a bad habit of joining groups, forgetting they're there because I'm not on Facebook very often, and just like not using them at all, which part of that has to do with, because I'm not interacting in the community, I don't feel like I should be posting or asking for anything from anybody, which I think is a legitimate thought. So that's the other thing that's keeping me from doing it. Another thing that I read after I had already been like, this was like day 15 or 16 in the Kickstarter, so it was kind of a little too late, but it'll be good to remember for next time, is not to put monetary amounts on the Kickstarter headers, like the images. Don't like put numbers on that until we see the momentum of the Kickstarter, because you don't want to put them too close together and blow past all of them. And you also don't want to be so, like, expecting so far ahead and not hit any of them, which is what happened with me. Is I had set them, I think the first one was set to 2,000, and, ending at 620, we weren't even close to 1,000. So it kind of, like, I think it might have killed the momentum that I didn't have even more, because there was like no chance of getting these stretch goals. Also might need to look into figuring out what stretch goals people are actually interested in, because most people that ordered the books, it was ebooks. So a lot of the physical stretch goals were not going to do anything for people who are digital. So yeah, and I thought I had kind of curtailed that, but maybe not as well as I could have. I also need to use backer updates more regularly. I completely forgot about that aspect of doing stuff. So, like, even if I'm not doing stuff in the Kickstarter, if I'm doing like a live stream or something, I need to be putting updates in the Kickstarter so people who are interested can go and look at them and do them. And so, yeah, I feel like a lot of the communications that I was doing were all like satellites. They weren't actually helping feed into one another, and that's part of where I have down that I also need to create a strategy for the campaign, like a better strategy than what I did, and making sure that everything is feeding into one another, that we're feeding the excitement and getting through all of those, so that they're not satellites, that they are cohesive and create like this big picture of what I'm trying to create is. And so that'll be something I start tinkering with now, because there will be another Kickstarter this year. So yeah, the other thing I had to come to terms with is the fact that I have created, because of how my newsletter was put together and how I got people on my list, my audience wasn't the right audience for getting them to convert to Kickstarter, which is fine. It's just not what I somehow kidded myself into believing. And so that's the other thing, is that's going to have to be a strategy change too, on how to get people on my list that'll be converting to Kickstarter a little more regularly than what I have now. And as part of that strategy, I will continue to be exposing my newsletter to Kickstarters. So even though I'm not expecting to have my pre-launch page up until May, and I'm not expecting to run the next Kickstarter until September, I am going to still be swapping and sending swaps, or sending Kickstarter campaigns to my newsletters, to help promote other people's Kickstarters, and hopefully get my newsletter subscribers used to seeing it, so it becomes like a normal thing rather than, what is this weird new thing that you want me to be a part of. Next thing is, I need to know when it will end for sure. So because I'm in Guam, everything was a little different from what I expected. Instead of ending on April 4th my time, it was April 5th. And so that threw me off a little bit. So like talking to Guam people, I have to be, it ends at April 5th at 10:30 a.m. But for everybody else, it ended at like April 4th at 6 p.m., something like that. So figuring out like some of the most common time zones and knowing for sure when it ends, so that when I'm talking to people, I can be like, so this is when the campaign ends. You will be charged almost immediately after this ends. So make sure that everything's set up the way you want it then, and like, so that people can do calculations to make sure that the money's there. I need to continue with the social media graphics and stuff. So I probably still won't be on social media that often because it's really not good for my mental health. I'm far too easily upset. And I'm not as productive when I'm upset, so I need to be careful about the influences I'm letting in. But I really enjoy making graphics, so I can still make graphics and schedule them to go out at least once a week, maybe twice a week on Instagram and Facebook, and continue to kind of hopefully roll the algorithm. I don't know how the algorithms work. Yeah, I'm gonna do what I want to do anyway. On here, though, you guys can expect a talking head video on Mondays, and which I call these coffee chats talking head videos, and then a vlog on Fridays, which will be probably I'm gonna do the aesthetic cozy vlogs, hopefully, and yeah, that'll be fun. I will probably be voicing over in those, just because that'll be the easiest way to do it for me. But yeah, you'll get a talking head and a cozy video, and as more changes to the channel come, I will update you. So then I also need to make sure that I do the videos earlier before the campaign starts, so that I'm not trying to do them during the campaign, because that's part of what burned me out so bad. I was really hoping to like ignore the campaign a little bit and do some writing during the campaign, because I had already scheduled and processed everything beforehand, but that didn't happen, and thus burnout. By the second Friday, I think, I told my sister I felt crisp, and I couldn't decide if I was crisp on the outside or crisp on the inside, like if I was emotionally crisp or physically crisp. And then I was like, actually, I think I'm just a chip. I think I'm crispy all the way through. And yeah, so the other lesson, this is the final lesson that I have written down. I'm sure there will be more that pop up, and I'll write them down, and if there's enough, I'll do a part 2. But the other lesson learned is that I need to do backer perks to get people to pledge early, and I'm looking at getting bonus books for the middle of the campaign when it's kind of a dead zone. So, like, some of the strategies that people use is they have early bird packages where, like, you get a cheaper tier because of you backing within the first 24 or 48 hours. And then, like, during the first week, if you back during the first week, you'll get this set of books, and if you back the second week, you'll get a different set of books. And so, and I think if you've already backed, then you get the bonus books anyway. So it just helps to encourage people to back during times where it's typically a dead zone, because there are, like, in the middle of the campaign, it's always a dead zone, from what I'm hearing from other people. So those are strategies I'm looking at implementing next time. I thought about implementing them this time, but it was already so complicated to me, and I didn't want to overcomplicate it any more than it had to be, simply because I am easily overwhelmed. And so that is the other thing where I'm kind of disappointed at how low we funded, like how low it ended. But on the other side of that is fulfillment is going to be much easier because I only have 17 people that I have to order for and send out surveys to, and it's probably still going to be a lot of work that I may or may not be prepared for. And so I'm really looking forward to this part of the project. Actually, I do like organizing things. I just may not always organize them in the best, like, strategic manner, but I have the rest of my family for that, and they can help me with it. So I plan on using them for those purposes as well. But yeah, so those are the Kickstarter lessons learned. I only took one sip from my coffee, and now it is full. I take it back. Still a little warm, but not like super warm. So yeah, those are the lessons learned. I will see you guys on Friday with a vlog, and during that vlog, I will be talking about what I'm doing creatively next, which is really exciting for me. And then the next talking head video will be my goals for the next quarter. So I'll also do like I'll do a quarter in review because I didn't really do my New Year goals or anything like that. And so I will do a quarter review, and then I will do the new quarter and the goals for this quarter, because I'm a big old planner head, as you may know from my introductory comments. And yeah, so we will go through those the next time I have a talking head video. Until next time, stay blessed and have a fabulous spring. Bye!